Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are just taking a break from the survival kit build and the bug out bag build. And we're just having a small look at some of my Swiss Army knife collection. I'm not a super collector having hundreds of them like many of the guys on YouTube are, but I do have a good dozen of them just to give me some different options when I'm building out some of my kits. I just got a quick little rundown here of some of the options I have and maybe some of the critique you guys can give me on the other kits and incorporate some of the information you see here. So let's just get started. Let's not make this video too long, but let's just take a look at what we have available. So this is the standard SD um, Victorinox Swiss Army knife. They're very basic, highly produced, millions of them sold, small multi-tool. So this is a nice little compact knife to add to like a little survival kit or just a clip to your keychain, which I haven't done. I just don't trust myself to have this thing dangling on a keychain, but a decent little assortment of options. So you saw the scissors, you have the knife, and then you have the um, the file with the screwdriver. So it can come in handy. Obviously, not as handy as the ones that have a lot more tools, but you got your toothpick, you got your tweezers, you have some options on you. It's something that you can just have clipped to your keychain or sitting in your little watch pocket or like I said, in those survival kit builds, in that bug out bag build. So there's that standard SD version. Then let's look at this is an old model that Marlboro used to give away. It's built out exactly like a Spartan, but it has blank scales. So there's no toothpick or tweezers in there. So I'm going to be bringing up the standard 4 tools on the other tools. So I wanted to look at this one first because I'm not going to open them all up to show the same things over and over. But when I say the standard 4 tools, it's these 4. Um, you have, let's change that angle a little bit, zoom out here. Have your larger blade, your shorter blade, your screwdriver, can opener, or I mean bottle opener. Then you have your can opener and your smaller screwdriver. So that's basically your basic 4 tools. So one, two, three, 4. On the back of the Spartan, you have the corkscrew, which can be a great option for a bug out bag because you can screw in some other accessories that go in there. And one of them that would be great for your bug out bag would be some fire tinder. Um, and then on this one, we have the owl reamer. So it is a decent little knife to carry with you. This kind of has some sentimental value. I don't smoke, but my brother, who passed away in 2015, he smoked, and he got this. I found this in his room after he passed away, so it was something I grabbed onto, and so I kind of hold it near and dear to my heart. Just this was the first Swiss Army knife I ever owned, and as I started to get into bug out bags and builds and kits, and I got into Swiss Army knives a little more, and that's why I got about a dozen of them sitting over here. Also have a bunch of Leathermans and Sogs and other things, but this is kind of my neatest collection that I enjoy playing with. So next on the list is the Mini Champ, which I thought I would like a lot more. It was one of the out of all the knives I have, it was one of my more recent purchases, and I will admit, over half of these, probably 3/4 of these, I did not buy brand new. I bought like secondhand on eBay or something because it's more just a collection. It's not something that's going to be all that important. But when you start opening up this Mini Champ, and I can't really compare it to any other ones because it has some unique set of tools on it. Um, you got this. I don't know what this is supposed to be. I haven't looked it up, but maybe you guys can help me out. Just a little piece of metal. I mean, it's got a little type of a bevel there, like a little spoon or something. But I mean, I know this is a package opener, so this could be handy. You have your file and your nail cleaner there, so that's not bad. Um, this is there's another blade on the other side. This is a smaller. I can't remember the name of this tip. It's not quite a sheep's foot, but just a smaller blade. And what else is on this side? Then this, which this is kind of another reason I think it's a little dorky, because you could have the sides of this are just completely smooth, and then you have a small screwdriver. So you could have that file just there. But I think, it's a thicker. It has for such a tiny one, it's thicker, and so they had to throw something there. So on this side, you have a little more meat to the knife, as far as your little scissors, your decent two-dimensional Phillips head with the bottle opener and the wire stripper, and then the main blade, I guess you'd call it, which is about the size of that SD blade, about the same size as the blade on that one. So it's a cool little collectible item. Again, it has the A-lock scales, so that doesn't have anything in the scales as far as the tweezers and the toothpick. So it's just another little option to, and it's small. It would fit in like a little Altoids tin kit, which I've thrown this in those kind of kits, and to give you some more options. But again, it's not a full size knife, and it's just one of the options I have. Let's look on next. We have the Rambler, and so for the money, because I bought this secondhand, super cheap especially compared to the price of this. Um, I still have my scissors, I still have my knife, and of course I don't have fingernails, but maybe I'll start growing them out for this reason. Oh, on this side we have the file and the screwdriver. So you got the scissors, the file, the screwdriver. You got your main blade. So basically just the same as an SD, but then you have the nice little two-dimensional Phillips with the with the bottle opener and wire stripper. And then it also has the scale, so you have your toothpick and your tweezers in there. So for the Rambler, for the money, I think I only paid like $16 for this thing. This is a neat little tool. I wouldn't mind throwing this in one of my kits, and small but still full functioning. So that's the Rambler. We'll go on. Uh, it's kind of a unique one. We're getting into the more of the full size version knives now. This is called the Sportsman, where it doesn't have it doesn't exactly have the basic four tools. It does have like the big blade, but then on the other side where you'd have the small blade, it's not a blade, it's a file and a nail cleaner on the tip. And then the other two are the same. So you have three of the four main tools. This one wants to be tougher. So you got three of the four main tools, but instead of having the small blade, it just adds a file and a nail cleaner, which to me is it's more useful. It's like, hey, I don't need. It's already a backup knife. I don't need a backup blade to the backup blade, if that's the situation. So that's why this Sportsman to me is kind of a little bit better option than a Spartan, just because you have that file. And of course, this one has the corkscrew, and I keep mentioning which one it has, because usually on these larger ones, it either has a corkscrew on the back or the two-dimensional Phillips screwdriver, and this one has the awl. So, I mean, this is a decent combination of on the backside, the corkscrew and the awl. I mean, the reamer awl, it can come in handy all the time. I actually use this. If you have this knife in your pocket, you'll find that you use this once in a while. Like, I've lost some weight recently, and I use this to punch a different hole in my belt. And then it's fuller size, so you have the basic scales with your tweezers and your toothpick. So that's the Sportsman. Another decent option. Small, useful little knife. Next on the list, many people's favorite, and I really do love this knife too, and that is the Victorinox Swiss Army Knife Compact. This knife is built out different. It has plus scales, and so again, it doesn't have this doesn't have the main four at all. You're going to see on the rest of these knives, they all pretty much have the main four. But the reason I have this one is because it doesn't. So it's another option of size and diversity of tool. So let's look at right on the front here. You have the bottle opener, but it's also kind of meant to be also a can opener and a screwdriver. I don't know how well you can open a can with that, but you have your main blade. You don't have the small blade at all. So you just have those two tools. And one of the reasons this compact is kind of nice is because it has the full size scissors. I mean, the really big full length scissors instead of them smaller ones. So get rid of that smaller blade, get rid of that other can opener, and just add these three tools here: the main blade, the big screwdriver, or the big scissors, and then your can opener screwdriver. So that's that side. And then on this side, you have your corkscrew, but on here I have this is just a mini like glasses screwdriver, and it's a plain edge screwdriver, but again, you have many options to add different tools in here. I haven't ordered any other accessories, but I'll do that just to show you guys all the things that can go in here, like fire starters. And you can pull one of these tools out and make it be a little ferro rod and stuff like that. But um, we'll finish off the tools on the back side here. It just has the parcel hook, which many people have their debate on what that thing's for. For me, it's just like maybe pulling a very small, like if I'm tying up some microcord or paracord or something, and I can't really get a good grip on it, and I want to just get this hook out and just really pull it tight, or use it to unlash it or something like that. But since we got these open, we'll look now. This is the compact, so it has the slightly different tool configuration there. If you either love it or hate it, I tend to like this tool pretty well. But it has the plus scale, so I have my pin right in there behind the corkscrew. So just a little pin, which can come in handy all the time. The one Swiss Army knife I owned many years ago, like 25 years ago. I lost the pin because I actually use it. And then, so you got your pin down there, and then you got your plus scales. So not only do you have your tweezers and your toothpick, you also have your pen. And so a lot of times, if I'm going to carry this thing, I go ahead and grab. Uh, if I'm going to throw this in my pocket, I'll go ahead and throw this mini little Write in the Rain notebook that can go along with this, just so I have something to write on. But that is for another story. But that is the Swiss Army knife compact, and a lot of people love that. I did actually. This is one of the ones I did buy new. So um, actually paid full price for that one, and I think it was right around $40. One of the actually more expensive ones I bought. Up next, kind of this was another eBay purchase where I just got a great deal on it, and I was like, well, there's no reason not to buy it. A lot of them are so similar. So now we're going to be talking about the basic four tools a lot. So on the front side here, it has that base four: the long blade, the short blade, the can opener, the bottle opener, the screwdrivers, the wire stripper. But what this one has, in addition to the basic four on the front here, is the full size scissors. And so this, again, this is the climber, and it just gives you that base four plus the scissors. And then what are your back options? It does come with the corkscrew. So again, you have the options to oh, I'm noticing there's a hole here for a pin. I don't have a pin in there. I'm gonna throw a pin in there. Anyway, so you have your options to put extra tools in there, and then it does have the reamer awl, and it does have the I'm not gonna even dig it out, but the parcel hook. So by now we've seen all these tools, and so you're figuring it out. It's just a different configuration and a different variation of tools and sizes and thicknesses, and what do you want to carry, what's useful to you, And we'll get to that by the end of the video here. I'll tell you which one I carry the most, and as far as my pocket carry and what I think is most useful in most situations. So that's the climber. So the next we'll get to the hiker. And this was one of my earlier purchases when I first started getting into Swiss Army knives, because I had the Marlboro one from my brother. And of course, I'm way into hiking, so I bought the hiker. Again, it has the base 4, and this is what I really like about having this when you're walking around in the woods. Maybe not so much in the city, but in the woods for sure. So you're hiking, you got your base 4 tools, which are great tools. So there's a reason they're on all these knives. But that like that climber had the had the scissors, the hiker has the saw. And I a bunch of these have saws now, of these bigger ones, and this little saw, it works great. It just maybe a branch, a little, maybe 2 inches thick even. I say 1 or 1.5, but even two, because I was just out on a hike the other day and I cut a good 2 inch branch at the base because I was just making a big fat pole to walk with. Um, it flies through it pretty well. So the base 4 and the saw, and then on the back, instead of the corkscrew, you have the screwdriver. And this one has the pinhole, and I actually have a pin in that one. So um, that that doesn't come with the pin. I just had ordered a bag of pins that fit in here and stuck them in there. But again, your toothpick, and guys, I've brought it up in other videos how useful that toothpick can be, because some people just think it's ridiculous. I think it just matters on your dental situation. Like, I was eating some pomegranate yesterday, and I got one of those little seeds jammed in the back of my, near my molar, and down by my gums on the inside. And I had one of these knives in my pocket, and I pulled that toothpick out and dug it out of there quick. And then I went and brushed my teeth and got it all cleaned up. But that thing can be a lifesaver out in the woods, especially you're trying to eat some food and get all jammed up. So with the hiker, you've got the screwdriver and the awl. And again, like I said, that awl is great in a, especially in like a long term wilderness survival situation where maybe you're tanning some hides, and you're actually like um, sewing some jackets and blankets together. I mean, this thing could come in handy for that kind of task. But I will admit that the screwdriver, this full size, decent Phillips, really does come in handy, and we'll get to that by the end of the video. So that's the hiker. So let's leave this here while we look at the camper. So again, it's got the basic 4, and it has the saw. So it is exactly like the hiker on the front side. So what's the difference of this knife? And it has the same scales. You still have your toothpick and your tweezers. And oh, this one doesn't have a pinhole. See, some of the scales have them and some of them don't. But it's the only difference is on the back. So you still have your awl reamer, but instead of the screwdriver, you have the corkscrew. So it's just a matter of, do you want the corkscrew or do you want the screwdriver? And I'll be 100% honest, when you're walking around at home or in the cities or commuting, you probably want the screwdriver. If you're in the woods and hiking and camping, you may want the camper with the corkscrew. Like I said, especially because you can add more tools in there that I don't have in there now. But again, that screwdriver does come in handy around the house, around the car, around just being in the city. But these two knives are basically identical, just that difference: the screwdriver or the corkscrew. And a lot of them are like that. Um, so let's keep that in mind when we look at um, the Huntsman. And I bought this one again, used on eBay. Pretty decent deal on it. I actually added these pocket clips. This one, so you got that in a deep, like in your jeans, and you can just hook that on the outside, so there's no knife sticking out, but you still have an easy way to just pull that out of your pocket quick. So the Huntsman, what are we talking about? The basic four, and also the saw. So you got, in the basic four are usually on the outsides. So like here's the long blade and the short blade. And on this side, here's the two screwdrivers and the can opener and the bottle opener and the wire stripper. And then in the middle, you're adding the saw. So just like the camper and the hiker, they had the four plus the saw. This one has the four plus the saw plus the scissors. And again, it's a nice full size scissors. So for the size, this isn't ridiculously huge, but it's a bigger, beefier knife. But it definitely fits comfortably in your pocket. I've carried this as my EDC. I don't carry it every day now, but it is definitely a viable option for an everyday carry knife. It's not so huge. I know some people like something smaller, like that compact, which it's very hard to disagree with. That's a great little set of tools on that compact as well, especially because it has that plus scales. But this one doesn't have plus scales, but you could put plus scales. If you don't know, you can change the scales on these, which we'll get to in a second. But anyway, the four tools, the knife and the scissors. And on the back, I'm not going to flip them all open anymore because you guys have seen them a bunch of times now. We have the corkscrew, the parcel hook, and the reamer all. And then we just have our standard scales with the tweezers and the toothpick. So here we go. Keep in mind, there's a Huntsman, and then this is the Field Master. So what is the Field Master? It's just like the other two when we talked about the hiker and the camper. They are actually identical on the front, and they're just different on the back, with one having the corkscrew and one having the screwdriver. So, being I think the screwdriver is more useful in my EDC around the house. For example, today, just within the last few hours, I used the screwdriver to take a screw out of a little toy for my baby. He's in his walker, and the batteries were dead on the little sound maker, the little music maker. So I unscrewed that, replaced the battery, screwed that back in, and this was in my pocket, and I actually used that. And also the belt I was wearing today, I took the reamer off of this one, and I pulled that out, and I reamed a new hole in the belt to make it a little tighter. So this actually came with red scales, and I don't recommend you do this because they charge you. They're very expensive to, like, compared to the price of the knife, to buy new scales. But I had a black one, and I had red ones, and I have A-locks, and I had the silver one. So I got a white one, and I also want yellow and blue and floor and see-through ones and everything else. But I don't go crazy on these. Like, it's been a while, and I only own a dozen Swiss Army knives. So the Field Master, though, this is the knife I keep in my pocket almost every day. Has the basic four, the saw, the scissors, which I've used them all. Not every day, of course, but more often than you think when you actually have this thing on you, and you remember to use it. Um, Double checking these are exactly the same. Yeah, yep. Got the partial hook, got the screwdriver. So the fact that I put the plus scales on there, though, that gave me um well, it added, because there wasn't a pinhole, so it added the pinhole. So I put the pin in there, and then I got my tweezers and my toothpick, but then I also have the pen. So again, it's another option just for my EDC. I have a pen on me everywhere I go, and then I put a smaller little pocket clip on there, where when this is in my pocket and I just have the red hanging out of it, in my jeans especially. And I wear khakis a lot, so they're more open, relaxed fit pockets. So it's easier. I just leave this in the bottom of my pocket, and it's easy to pull out of there and grab. So that's the Field Master. This is probably my favorite, just pocket carry EDC knife. I could see carrying several of these other ones. Like if you wanted just something really small, I like that Rambler. If you want something more utility for the size and not have double up on extra stuff, I can see that compact with them plus scales. So you have all the pen, the tweezers, the toothpick, extra screwdriver there to pin, the scissors, and then it's smaller. I mean, it's significantly smaller, but it's just compacted in, so a decent option. So Fieldmaster, my favorite EDC for now. And last but not least, this I said this was the first one I got from my brother, but I forgot when I was in the Army in the 90s. I bought this at the PX, and even way back then, well, way back for me anyway, I think it was 96. I bought this Victorinox Swiss Army knife, the Champ. But as I played with it, it is a little unwieldy as far as how big it is and heavy it is. Um, Not that it's any heavier than like a Leatherman, the fuller size Leatherman. People carry those regularly, but they usually have those on a belt in its own pouch, and so it's a little more handy. But this is quite the chunk of a knife, and has a lot of it. It basically has all the same options. It just has more of them all in one. But something it has that I really like, which would make me throw this in a bug out bag or something, um, to just have it has the pliers, which can come in such great handy situation. Well, for one, manipulating like snare wire when you're having to twist that wire, especially if your hands are cold, but also to grab a hot pot off of the fire. Of course, it has the basic four, and it's the same spot where the two are on this side and the two are on this side. Then on this one, you have like a full size um, Phillips screwdriver in there, and then another very unique tool in here is that it has a small magnifying lens. I think it's intended to start a fire. I think it'd be pretty difficult to start a fire with that, but definitely not impossible. You got your full size screwdriver. Um, you have the saw, and I just remember this one also has the fish scaler. So that could be, it's got a little measure. It's got a little 3-inch ruler here, which who cares? But nice little fish scaler, and then on the end has like that hook remover piece, and then right in here too, it has like a full size file on both sides, and it's a way bigger file than those other knives with the nail clipper. Um, so a decent set of tools, just for the trade off of carrying a big lunky chunk. Um, has the plus scales, have my pin in there, have my glasses, screwdriver in there, my toothpick, my pen. Um, this pen has been, oh my god, it works. I must have replaced it. Okay, so it actually works. That can't be the one from 25 years ago. And my tweezers and everything. So the Swiss Army knife Champ, and they have bigger ones that are this wide. Like it's just like Champ XL and different models that are almost more like a joke. They're like $350, but they're fun, if you're a collector. But for me, it's kind of like I want to have options of utility, not just a collection for no reason, just because I have them all. I want to be able to support that they have some functionality in my kits, whether it's my bug out bag or my scouting bag or my survival kit or my EDC. I mean, I've carried this. I've thrown this in my pocket and carried around. It's not that big a deal. But if I look what it has extra over the Fieldmaster, it's mostly things you would use in a survival situation in the woods. Like the fact that this pliers is on me, it's just not big enough to do anything in the city. That I'm not gonna. It's not big enough to take the battery cables off of your battery in the car. It's not. It's just too small for any kind of practical application as far as mechanical or city living. But for in the woods, I can see having that small one. For my EDC, it's just this. So, guys, this is going on longer than I thought. We're almost up to a half hour already. But so, thank you guys so much for checking out Airborne Outdoors. We're still with the terrible camera angles and the unprofessionalism, but we're gonna figure it all out and have it all working well within the next few months. Have the better camera and the better um, editing and loving the outdoors. And so, guys, please consider liking, sharing, subscribing. um, it's a small channel. I think we just hit 60 subscribers, so we're pushing for that 100 and go on and keep building the channel, enjoying everything outdoors. So thanks a lot, guys, for checking me out, and I'll see you in the next video.